Okay, here we go with session four. So first of all, what is defensive driving? Well, it really isn't so much how you drive, which I'm sure in most cases is going to be just fine. Really, what it involves is watching out for predicting and then reacting to all the stupid crap for brain things that other people do. I will also tell you that in this segment today, as a lot of times, I should get it a session, not segment. That'd be more accurate. I'm going to say some stuff that some of you may disagree with, and this is not the only time. And if I do, and you just really want to tell me I'm full of it, make a note of it, and we can debate it, discuss it, whatever in the car, which can be kind of fun for me because I will tell you that there are many things in this world I really suck at and I'm not good at, but I am very good at defending my own position on things. All right. So I just have absolutely utter confidence in that. Okay. Um, so if somebody was to ask me, how can you do it? And people have asked me this, when I tell them what I do, they say, how can you possibly do that? Oh, I don't know. Just like mentally ill or something, that does help. But, they say, aren't you afraid of dying? I said, hell yes, I am. Isn't everybody? But I'm really not afraid of what the student does because I can control that. And a lot of you have, or some of you have seen how well I can control things in the car. I control them very well. That's one reason I don't get in wrecks. But my concern is really 95% of my concern is the other drivers out there. And so I've come up with a little, you know, it's the correct word, strategy for dealing with that. Okay, now before I get too much into that, maybe I'll change the slide. That's the first order of business. And most of you right now are about on the second drive. On average, I would say most of you are approaching your second drive, and you're going to notice something that I already mentioned before, but it bears repeating that um, as we go along through this, I cut the assistance back. And so stuff that I told you or I helped you on the first drive, I'm going to like not be so helpful on the second drive. And then even less so on the third and less so on the fourth, because I want you to be able to solve these issues on your own. Because if you depend on me to do all the thinking, which some people do, you're not going to develop that skill. And so I'm not going to let anything bad happen. But, sometimes I will just, if we're in a position to do so, I'll just jerk the car over to the side of the road and say, well, look at this situation and figure something out. Okay. Because it's not going to be very long before I or nobody else is sitting there 3 feet to the right of you to do all the thinking. Okay. So don't get pissed at me. Like I said, this is how you teach people. You let them figure things out on their own to an extent. All right. So, okay. Now, when you're in the car with me, I may look like I'm 95% dead, okay, sitting there like barely able to stay awake. But that's really not the case, or, you know, drooling away like that with a sombrero and Joe Biden sunglasses. But um, it's actually not the case. I'm actually paying very close attention. I'm actually paying more attention to what's going on when I'm with you than I am even when I'm driving because I know that I can react to this stuff, but I don't know how the student's going to react to it. And it's the usual cliche deal, more iced tea here. I'm back to the other brand where it's completely unsweetened, but at least it doesn't have that artificial sweetener, which tastes not too bad when it's first going down, but it's like that, like about 6 seconds later, that aftertaste, and you feel like you're gonna up chuck through your nose or something. So anyway, That's one reason at the end of the day, I am like wiped. Okay. Now, what I do is not physically hard, but uh, mentally, it really is. Okay. And a lot of that depends upon who I'm with. Okay. So there's basically three elements of this that I'm looking for out there. Number one, I'm looking at what other drivers are doing, and I'm looking way further ahead and further away than most people do. Whenever I see anybody doing anything that isn't completely kosher, I'm going to notice it. When I say kosher, that means proper in this case, anyway. So if somebody's lane placement is a bit off, I will notice it. If their speed is not what it should be, I will notice it. If they can't seem to hold their lane position, even very subtly, I will notice it. So I tend to notice things that most other people do not. Let me kind of get back to a point I was making before I started the iced tea deal. Um, the fact that I have given about 90,000 driving lessons and never had any of my students hit anything, is there luck involved with that? There is. There is luck involved with everything, both good and bad. And by the way, I'm going to tell you that people who say that there's no such thing as good luck, like, I did it all myself. I'm a self-made man. I pulled myself up by my bootstraps, which, by the way, when you think about it, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, that is like physically impossible. That's bullshit. Okay. There's luck involved with everything. And I have I had some good luck? Oh yeah. There have been times when things could have gone really bad, but just for somehow they went okay. Okay, so I definitely believe in luck, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that, when I would work at other driving schools before I started this place, almost always about on average, every 18 months, the other instructors would get in a wreck. And it wouldn't just be getting rear-ended or having somebody hit them. Their students actually did hit stuff. Okay. And in one case, this one place I worked at, the the guy actually, the student actually ran over a pedestrian. I don't mean hit, I mean frickin' ran over. Okay. I would never let that happen. Uh, and I think because I think I'm just better at this, and one reason I'm better at it is what I'm going through here is because I'm so judgmental about people. Okay, so what are they driving? Okay, that has a lot to do with it. The fact of the matter is that, you know, a big, huge, jacked up pickup truck is generally going to be driven differently than a Prius is. It's quite reliable. And number three, I'm looking at the driver. Am I judging people by their appearance? You're damn right I am. The fact of the matter is, you can judge a book by its cover. Never been a problem for me. I look at people and I make snap judgments about them, and my snap judgments are usually very accurate. And so I put those three things together, okay? And I put them together really quick, and I can come up with a pretty good prediction of what they're going to do in the next 5 to 10 seconds. And so usually the evasive action is to just try to stay away from them, either by dropping back a bit or speeding up or changing lanes. Okay. And there again, am I being judgmental about people by judging by their looks? Yeah, absolutely, I am. But why not use the technique if it works? And it certainly works for me. All right. So here again, getting the attitude thing. When driving, do you want to look at that? I'll let you read it, that little angel going up and down there. Or is that the fact, or is this more reality? Okay. I'll let you enjoy that animation there. Come on, devil. Actually stab the guy. Don't just threaten him. Carry through. Yeah, finish the job. Oh, I don't know. I don't know who the guy is on the ground. He might be a wonderful person, or he might be somebody else too that deserves it. Okay. Yeah. And the winner is that. That's what I look at people like, look, I look at people out there on the road saying, look, this person is in complete control of 3,500 pounds of steel that could kill me. All right. That's what I look at everybody out there. So therefore, I am not a trusting person. I'm really not. I trust who I see when I look in the mirror. Now, here I get a bit controversial, but you have to understand something. And I could take this off in a different direction, but I don't think I need to because I think most of you are smart enough to figure out what I'm referring to here. But I won't get into it right now. I'll stick to the subject more or less. But the fact of the matter is, about 40 to 50% of people in this country are dumber than dog shit. Okay. That they are. Okay. And there again, I can take that off in a different direction. I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about. If you want to discuss it in the car, we certainly can, but I won't right now. But as applies to driving, you have to keep that in mind. All right. Okay. There again. See, she's telling me I don't need to be so negative about people. Maybe, well, actually, I do, because that is, if I wasn't, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. I would be worm food somewhere. Okay. Worm food means you're dead, by the way. All right. Yeah. See, that if I wasn't so negative and so judgmental and just downright cynical in many cases, that would be my fate. And I really don't want that to be my fate any sooner than it is going to be naturally. Okay. It's like sometimes we'll be driving by cemeteries and I'll say, yeah, um, we'll chuck into the cemetery for a few minutes. And then I'll say, but it's nice to be able to drive in and to drive back out. When it's a one-way trip, then you got a hell of a problem, obviously. All right. Yeah, so much for that. Oh, you want proof, huh? Okay, perfect, youngsters. I'll give you proof. And what do we need for that? We need somebody in a white coat. Okay, look at this. We got scientific proof. Do you need more proof than that? Okay. Okay, now this is what we're going to perform kind of a something to work here. This very intelligent looking guy. Yeah, that is sarcasm. If you want proof that people what's in a lot of people's heads, okay, here it comes. Okay, we're going to cut the top of his head off. And look what we find in there. All right, look at that. So look, case closed. You need any more than that? All right. Okay. Yeah. Like I say about a lot of people, you know, 6 teeth in his mouth and 4 brain cells in his head. All right. Okay. Now, space management. Space is your friend. Keep that in mind. That's the only friend I have. I mean, people hate me, but space loves me. So fine, I'll take space. All right, I'll hug the air around me. But this is important. Keep in mind that space will not hurt you, but 3,500 pounds of steel very definitely could do a number on your face. So you got 4 zones around your car. You got the front, you got the rear, you got the left, you got the right. Now, we'll get into all these individually. It happened on Aurora, as do many things. As we know, a lot of things happen. Look at that. See, now there is something that can happen on Aurora, especially up around 125th. I'm not kidding you. It was about 18 months ago. We were going down to Aurora, which I enjoy doing at night, because we see some interesting stuff there, as you know. It was right up there by Krispy Kreme and Jack in the Box. God, all you got to do is put a Jack in the Box anywhere, and stuff like this is going to happen. And there had been a guy got stabbed about 1 minute before we passed there. Okay, yeah. So okay, so this was the day after Thanksgiving. This is southbound Aurora. And this is just as you pass Green Lake, would be on your left, and then you're going to go up that upgrade through Woodland Park. Most of you know where I'm talking about. Now, we were not involved with this, but we witnessed it, and there was no traffic out that night. We were about 1,000 feet behind this situation. There was a guy driving a red Honda right next to that big white semi truck. Now, there was plenty of other places that guy could have been driving that red Honda other than there. Okay, because there was really no traffic out that night. Then they were doing about 50. Then all of a sudden, the truck changes into the right lane without checking and knocks the guy in the Honda right off the road, right into a tree. It was a lot worse than that, I might add. The car was up on the tree at about a 45-degree angle. So I do the proper thing. We pull over, I put the four-way flashers on, and I call 911. I go over and see if I can render assistance to the guy. After I was over there, I figured I'm not going to try to get him out of the car. You don't want to move injured people unless the vehicle's on fire. So I figured I'll just stay here until the professionals show up who know how to handle this. But I did the right thing. Okay, but we were not involved with this. We just witnessed it. If the guy had been driving anywhere else, he would not have had that fate. And he had plenty of other places to drive. So as much as possible, you want to try not driving next to other vehicles if you can help it, but that's not always possible. Okay, so let's say you're in the red car, which one of mine is, and you're kind of boxed in. You don't really have any choice of where to be. Well, there's something you can do to protect yourself. If I was in the red car, I would move a bit right of center. That's going to give me about another 12 to 18 inches of buffer zone in case the dude driving the blue car does something stupid besides get out of bed that morning, okay? How about if he, okay, or she, happy everybody? All right. That person, whatever you want to call it. How about if they start coming into my lane? Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to blow the horn. The horn is there for a reason. Do not be afraid to use it, okay? Um, it's it's a legitimate signaling device. Now, quite frankly, uh, let's see, both my cars have about the same horn. I used to have this car, haven't had it for a long time. The thing it sounded like a mouse fart, meep, meep. Nobody would even hear it. Um, yeah, it's like I used to have this old Ford F-150. I bought this thing I bought the whole truck for $75. Well, you can imagine what that was like, but I put a kind of neat feature on it, completely illegally, of course, but it was still, which only makes it more fun in many ways, From my friend Jim Carroll, from whom you could buy anything. I mean, my God, you could buy weapons grade plutonium from that guy if you were willing to pay for it. You ask Jim, where do you get this stuff? He says, you don't know and you don't want to know. So I bought from him a completely illegal railroad locomotive horn. Okay, this thing was 150 decibels. Well, a 747 taking off is like 100 decibels. This thing was so loud, it would literally scare the crap out of people. I mean, I could have started my own constipation relief clinic, like no more need for the unpleasantness of that enema. Just let me blow the horn and you'll have instant evacuation. Yeah. So, but hey, you got people's attention. So like I said, somebody starts coming into your lane, blast the horn at them. Following distance, that I'm not really that big on speed within reason. I usually, not, if we're out there in traffic, if it's over the speed limit, I don't really care. I am big on following distance, though. You always have to have enough following distance behind what's in front of you. So if the vehicle in front of you just stops for any reason, more iced tea. There is no doubt you could stop before running into it. In this state, as is most of the cases, the legal minimum following distance is 2 seconds. That means if it takes you less than 2 seconds to reach a fixed point that the vehicle in front has crossed, you ain't legal, Charlie. If any of you are named Charlie, I just use Charlie as kind of a generic name, like Mac or Bud or Bub. Okay. Now, so if 2 seconds is the legal minimum, we're always going to be 2 seconds back, right? Wrong. Let's say we're on the freeway. We're going 60 miles an hour. You're 2 seconds back, which is legal. How far are we going to travel at 60 miles an hour? In 2 seconds, how far are we going to travel? The answer is 176 feet. Can you stop from 60 miles an hour in 176 feet? Let me put it this way. I would not say it's completely, totally impossible. It is highly, highly, highly unlikely. You're probably going to run into what's in front of you. So with me, it's 3 to 4. Okay, much better. And by the way, if you ever hit what's in front of you, it's your fault, period. There is zero legal defense for it. And this is by far the easiest collision to avoid. Okay, so the question becomes, if 3 to 4 seconds is good, wouldn't maybe 8 or 10 be better? It would not. Here's why. If you are too far back, if you have too much of a gap in front of you, even if you're moving with the traffic flow, if there's too much of a gap in front of you, that encourages tailgating. And you're going to have some like seventh grade asswipe dropout right behind you. Seventh grade dropout asswipe would be more dramatic. That's got a better flow to it. But okay, they're going to be tailgating you. Now, is there any logic in them doing that? No, but since when are people logical? I'm logical for the most part, but a hell of a lot of people are not. They're just emotional, okay? They're just fools who will believe anything. Oh God, there again, I'm getting into that topic I shouldn't be getting into, but ask me in the car, I'll be happy to discuss it with you. All right, now, so sometimes I'll have you close the gap up. You want enough following distance without too much. Okay, there again, passing that fixed point. Okay, a few vehicles you should have more following distance behind. One is dump trucks. Now, that load that you see there should be covered. It is not, and they rarely are. Rocks and crap can fly off that pile of dirt and break your windshield, which I've got to tell you is expensive. It really is. So, anytime you see a load like that where debris can fly off, and trust me, it can, hang back a bit further, or else it could hit your windshield could break, and you could end up looking like that. Do you want to look like that guy by getting the big, like, chunk of concrete right in your puss? You do not, people. Like I said, speaking to you is someone with too much personal experience with being ugly. Okay. I'm not quite as bad as that guy, but I mean, the Hollywood agents are not exactly calling me either. Okay, another one is motorcycles. You hit a passenger vehicle, it's bad enough. You hit somebody on a motorcycle, it's instantly going to be 50 times worse because you're almost automatically talking bodily injury or death, and killing people can get expensive. Now, another thing is a car is not going to tip over. A motorcycle can. All right. So just hang back a bit further behind dump trucks and motorcycles. All right. So here I am. This actually happened to me. This happened to me like hundreds of times, actually. Going up the street, and let's say I'm doing about 35 in the black car. Now, it's my right of way over the driver of the red car. But if the driver of the red car is gonna, like, do something incorrectly, I'm gonna want to know about it. So I'm looking for certain things. First of all, they should be looking at me. Are they looking at me? If I don't see the driver looking in my direction, that I'm going to pay more attention to that red car. Okay. Now there is something here that if I see it, it's going to be a big red flag. That means a big indicator that that driver is going to do something improperly. More iced tea, and I'll tell you. I'll keep you in suspense. Okay. I did, in one case, I did see that. As soon as I saw it, I shot the car around the guy. Okay. Because he did pull out right in front of me. Damage to the car, damage to the left front. That tells me that that driver has pulled out when they're not supposed to and gotten hit. Okay. Another thing is I can by looking at the damage, I can tell whose fault it was because there was rust on the damage. If it had been another driver's fault, they probably would have gotten the car fixed. Okay. But they didn't. All right. And they just let the rest accumulate. So there again, I'm looking at the vehicles and I'm being judgmental. So, as a general rule, when you see somebody driving something like this, or that, or that, or that, God, talk about a horse's ass for God's sakes, okay? Or that, ooh, I love that band, okay? Or these guys, okay? Ask yourself this. Besides, I mean, that thing has obviously been in a few wrecks, okay? But there's something got to go beyond that. You got to be judgmental here. What do the owners of these vehicles have in common almost always? They lack something. If somebody is driving that, we know they've got candy. God only knows what they do with it. We know what they do with it. Okay. Luring. But the owner of that vehicle, what do they lack? Well, I'd be willing to bet $50,000 cash that the owner of that vehicle does not have insurance. Okay. And you never want to get in wrecks, but I got to tell you from personal experience, you get hit by somebody with no insurance, then you got to collect from your own insurance company, which is harder than collecting from the other party's insurance company. Okay, they don't have any insurance. What else do these guys not have besides jobs, brains, hygiene, uh, morality, good judgment? Does that guy have any money? No. Okay, that guy doesn't have two nickels to rub together. So I tell people, I say, look, if you gotta get in a wreck, get hit by some dude from Mercer Island driving a Mercedes, not some like guy that lives 18 miles south of frickin' Auburn driving something like that. Okay, or look at the driver. Look at that guy. What does that tell you? Or her. We know where her mind is. Or a guy like that. Okay, or him, or them, or him, or him. By the way, in case you're wondering, okay, I don't want to traumatize anybody. Do people ever put toilets out like this? Actually, one of my many past crappy jobs, which I will tell you a story about it in another session, was when I was a prison guard at Walla Walla. It was one of those jobs that just, oh my God. Ooh, baby. Uh, which the job was every bit as bad as you might think. And it was worse. And I lived in a place, it was 7 miles outside of Walla Walla. It was called Jack's Trailer Park. Well, can you imagine what a place called Jack's Trailer Park is? It was bad even by trailer park standards. And this one guy actually did put a toilet right at the front door, and it wasn't even hooked up to anything. It was like didn't even put it in back. It's like he was like proud of being such an exhibitionist moron. Okay, so semi trucks, damn, that is what is called a semi truck. It's where the trailer and the tractor are not one unit. They're coupled with each other. That, what you're looking at there, is a 48-foot trailer. Can they ever haul two trailers? They can. Okay. You do see it. It's called hauling a double. Can they haul three trailers? Well, you don't see that around here, but there are two states where it is legal to pull three trailers. Those two states are Oregon and Pennsylvania. There is one place, now if that's a 48-foot trailer, the longest standard trailer is 53 feet. So just just see if you can stick another 5 feet onto that trailer. There is one place where it is legal to pull 12 53-foot trailers, and that place is Western Australia. Okay, and they can be up to 110 pounds in weight, 110 feet in length, 80,000 pounds in weight. And with a permit, which you can buy daily, you can exceed that. Okay. Keep in mind that you are not going to win a battle with that sucker. No how, no way, Jack. All right. So here's a bad place to be. We got a little movie here. We got you and that. I'm mainly talking about freeway here, but not so much in the city, although it applies to there too. But let's say it's the freeway. The absolute worst place you can drive is by the rear wheels of that trailer. Because if the driver slams the brakes on, the trailer doesn't, because the trailer does not have anti-lock brakes. Those rear brakes lock and that thing does not track straight. It jackknifes one way or the other. And if it goes your way, you are SOL. That looks like SOL to me. All right. So as much as possible, don't drive next to any vehicle, but sure as hell don't do it next to semi trucks, and either ease back a bit and let them go or speed up and get away from them, but just don't drive next to them. This is not exactly the same type of a thing, but it does make the point.
有啲黏。
I like the music. Okay. Do I need to tell you why you wouldn't want to be next to that? Ooh, look, a little story with cute little animals. Okay. Well, the snake is kind of scary. All right. Here we got our little movie with our players. That's the date. Here's the place. Here's the players. Me, an incredibly ugly dog, and 34,000 pounds of chickens. Now, another one of my many past crappy jobs, and most of my crappy jobs last about 6 months. Okay. Very predictable. So, more iced tea. I was a truck driver for about 6 months, and boy, did that suck. So I was driving a load of live chickens up from Portland, and what was the chicken's fate? Well, that's their fate. They're chickens. So it's the middle of the night. I'm tired. I'm bored. I just want to get this stupid thing over with. I'm in the right lane, doing about 60. Okay. Then all of a sudden, this incredibly ugly, gross, smelly, disease-ridden, maggot-infested dog runs right onto the freeway right in front of me. Now I got to make a very fast decision here. The decision is, should I just put the damn thing out of its misery, or should I try to save it by avoiding it? I'm going back and forth, see what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, I decided to be my usual nice guy and save it. Okay. So I slam the brakes on, which locks the rear wheels of the trailer. Okay. And it's like, whoa, these are really burning up. And let's have a Google Earth view of this. Okay. This is what happened to the trailer. It started sweeping across the whole freeway. Okay. And It's a good thing that nobody was there, like in that yellow car or that guy. Yeah, that guy would have like encountered or experienced just about the worst thing anybody can experience, which is what? What is it, people? Oh, could it be a lot of things? Well, this DBC. Ask what does DBC stand for? Da 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 da. Now you know what DBC stands for. All right. It's like, oh, imagine at your funeral. Was he was he saved? Was he killed? It's like saving ch children from burning buildings. No, he was killed by chickens. I mean, people would be so incensed they would be giving you like the golden showers as you're being lowered into the grave, for God's sakes. So there again, just stay away from semi trucks. See, there is a moral to it. I'm so moral, as you know. Ooh, boy, that is one ugly slide, but maybe it got your attention. All right. Oh, another sucky job. I'll even show you that somehow the building is still there. Okay. It's the type of building that looks like it should have burned down 50 years ago, but somehow it's still there. The place was called Jack's Payless. And although you did not pay less there, Jack knew how to get you, believe me. He knew how to get me, I'll tell you. So most of the time I was running the U-Haul desk, not deck. And I would, check the trucks out and check them back in. And so this guy comes in. Maury was his name. Here's our players. Her. We got one more player and that. Okay. And Maury going to rent a 24-foot box truck because he was going to move. And Maury maybe has never driven anything bigger than that in his whole life. All right. So it takes a while to get used to driving something that big. And anybody can go in to a truck rental place and rent that truck with only a driver's license. Okay. There is no special license required. Now, the thing is not only big, but the sight lines are not what they are out of a passenger vehicle. So let's see what happened. Her smash-o, over she goes. Okay. When you see a U-Haul truck, a Hertz truck, Ryder truck, or Penske, keep in mind that very often the last time that driver drove a truck was never. All right. There are just certain vehicles I like to stay away from. This is data. You see very few of those around anymore. So this, but 15 years ago, oh my God, there was so many of these in Seattle. Those were called a Volvo Squareback. And the people that would drive those things were so predictable. They were the type that would get on a 70-mile-an-hour freeway going 30 and then brake when they're trying to merge. And they were also famous for what are known as left lane camping, where they would drive over in the left lane and they would not go 1 mile an hour over the speed limit because they're trying to, everybody must obey the speed limit. Okay. I'm enforcing it. And it would just piss people off, and they would like a lot of times drive, you'd swear to God they were drunk. And it was so cliche. It really was. There is a brand of car, but unfortunately, a lot of your parents have this car, and I don't want to piss you off, but you could ask me in the car about this one brand of car, which has sort of replaced the way these people drive. Although the way the people that drove those things was nowhere near as this newer one. Okay. Okay. These are what are called access vans or access buses. Now it's a good service. It really is. But the people who drive these things, Um, they go through this like 5 day training program, although why in the world would take 5 days? I have no idea. But I swear to God, they spend 80% of those 5 days teaching these people how to be the biggest pains in the ass they can be. And they really are, because a lot of times they will block the right lane needlessly. Now, okay, this was about 10 years ago. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I did, and I'm not advocating this. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to be a complete, total hypocrite here. But at least I'm willing to admit my hypocrisy. But it was a horrible situation. This was on 4th Avenue South, going southbound. That area is called Soto. And it was night. There was a lot of traffic. It was pouring down rain. The student I was with couldn't drive worth a damn. And so we're going south just after we go under the Spokane Street Bridge. This access van just stops in the right lane because he was going to pick up some people at this like drug rehab center that's there. And so the dumb thing was there was a huge parking lot this guy pulled into, didn't even put the four-way flashers on. And here we are basically stuck behind this thing in very heavy traffic. And I have to somehow figure out a way to get my student around into the other lane. Well, it wouldn't be that much of a problem for me to change lanes and do this, but the guy I was with, baby. Okay, so it took 5 tries to do it. And on the first 4, we almost got hit. And then we get around the access bus, and I just jerk the car into the parking lot. Okay. And then the student asked me, "What are you going to do?" I said, "Well, at this point, I'm getting to be my other self, you know." I said, "I'm going to go have a little chat with this driver." Because I could see the guy. First, I always make sure I don't see any bulge, which could be a gun, all right? I also made sure that I was about twice this guy's size. And I just go over to the guy, and I'm just like, I'm ripping the guy a new asshole verbally. "You should not do this." Okay. But I must admit it was a cathartic experience for me. So when you're driving in the right lane and you got one of these access buses in front of you, my suggestion is usually to change lanes and get around it, because these people who drive these things, they're kind of like school bus drivers. School bus drivers will do this too. You know, they know their life sucks. That's why they're like 50 years old and they got a sucky job. Okay. The life sucks. The job sucks. They're pissed. They're pissed at everybody. And their way of getting back is to block the right lane. Okay. And school bus drivers can be even worse about this. All right. Now, think a lot of you, anytime you're in a vehicle or anything, and you look at, and this is usually a trailer or a flatbed truck, okay, you look and you go, whoa, that load looks like it can fall off. If the load looks like it can fall off, the load can fall off. And I don't know what language is this, but if anybody knows what language this is, let me tell.
Jak lata cały zestaw.
Miota nim jak szatan zaczął nim... O, kurwa.
No w pizdę daj!
No pierdolę.
O chuj!
O kurwa!
O kurwa!
Kurwa no.
Siadaj kurwa.
Kurwa. All right. So, yeah. Just look at it and say, boy, that does not look safe. And so when you see, now that's what's called a gazebo. Nothing I really have any desire to own, but, to each their own, I guess. So we were up. This is back when I had my Mercedes. I got rid of the Mercedes. It, God. No, I'll talk about this when I tell you people how to buy a car. Not a good car, terrible gas, but just a lot of problems with that car. We are on I-90 going westbound. We're a bit out of Issaquah, about 3 miles east of Issaquah, before the speed limit drops. The speed limit there is 70. We're doing about 75, generally moving with the flow of the traffic, which I don't have any problem with. Okay, we are in the right lane because we're going to get off at the next exit. There is a guy driving a pickup truck towing a flatbed trailer with one of these things on it. And this guy must have been going at least 90. And I thought, shit, that's what I said. And then I could momentarily see that very quickly, I could see that what the hell is holding that thing on? Not much. The trailer hit a bump, and that sucker came off the trailer. And when it hit the pavement at 90 to 95 miles an hour, it literally exploded. It was a gazebo blowup, which would have been pretty funny if one of the parts of this gazebo had not hit my car. Okay. Was I pissed? That saying that I was pissed would be a gross understatement. Okay. And I know I've used this analogy before, but it would like be calling World War II a slight misunderstanding. And I just felt like chasing after the guy and we didn't. Okay. Trust me, I felt like it. But so again, when you see that, and you do see shit like this or that, and yeah, I could make a joke about that, but it would require no creativity whatsoever, or that, or that. Okay. Stay the hell away from it. All right. Well, what do we have here? We have a Prius with blacked out windows. Whenever you see a Prius with tinted windows, 99% of the time, it's going to be rideshare, Uber or Lyft. I have nothing against these rideshare drivers, all right? They are trying their best to make a living. I respect that. However, I will also tell you, and the same thing with cab drivers, because it's kind of the same type of people, they're not good drivers in many cases. And what they will do a lot of the times, they'll be heading in one direction, and then the app on the phone shows them where the next pickup is, and they will just do all kinds of crazy ass stuff to get to that pickup as soon as they possibly can, like just all of a sudden making a U-turn. So there again, Prius with tinted windows, I would stay away from it. Ooh, this happened out very close to where my office is now. This was out in an area called Meadowbrook by Nathan Hale High School. Now, there was a customer I had many years. This was not even when I had this business. It's when I worked for somebody else, when they like foisted all these undesirable people on me and basically said, go give them hundreds of lessons. And in case you're wondering, what is the biggest number of driving lessons I ever gave to one person? It was 359 lessons with one person. Her name was Mary Wood. I will talk about her in another session. And it's just another one of those cases where truth can be stranger than fiction. And in my business, truth very often is stranger than fiction. This person's name was Bubbles Goldstein. I swear to God, that was their name, Bubbles Finkel Goldstein. Okay, now Bubbles was one of those perpetual customers who was, like I said, she was forced on me. And we're heading down. We're going northbound on 35th Avenue Northeast. We're going down a hill. I'll even show you where this happened. And the vehicle coming the other way was a garbage truck. And so nothing particularly significant going on until this guy pulls right out in front of us. And I'm assuming he didn't see the garbage truck. And this guy is about 140 years old. And I got to think of something quick, or we are going to T-bone this dude, and Pops is going to go pop. All right. So what options do I have in this situation? Should I deflect to the left? No, because I don't want to get in a head-on collision with a garbage truck. Should we just T-bone Pops and say, hey, guy, you lived 140 years. It was about to end anyway. All right. No, I'm not going to do that. Or should I jerk the wheel 90 degrees to the right and make a right turn? In that particular car, at that speed, it would have rolled the car. And I do not want to be upside down in a vehicle with Bubbles Goldstein. Trust me. Okay, what should I do? Well, what I did was I pulled about 45 degrees to the right. We smacked into this curb, at which point it like pretty much destroyed the whole wheel assembly on the left front. I'm on the brakes. We skidded across this grass right into this house. Look what happened. No, that didn't happen. We were not upside down. The house did not catch on fire. We didn't even hit the house. We did skid right across the grass to the house. Did quite the little number on the lawn, I might say, all right? But nobody hurt. The car was really screwed up, but sacrifice property for people, okay? But no injuries, no deaths. That's which is like definitely the goal here. All right. Yeah. Yep. See, looking on the bright side. Lane usage. Doesn't this look fun? Okay. Now, you do not always want to be centered in the lane. Now, another thing is, one thing you will notice with me, okay, is that, well, first of all, let's say this is the Aurora Bridge, or this is Aurora for about a mile and a half north of the Aurora Bridge. That is a highway where everybody's doing usually at least 50, and there is nothing separating the directions. Do not drive in the left lane there unless you got no other option. Because all it takes is somebody crossing the center line, and you are in a world of hurt, okay? So, Aurora Bridge in that area, never you go across that thing in the left lane. All right, so let's say we're going down the Magnolia Bridge. Well, you notice I will not have you centered in the lane. I will have you a bit right of center. Because more times than I can remember, I've seen drivers crossing the center line, and if we weren't there, we would have been doomed. Okay, so by doing that, it gives us about another 18 to 24 inches margin of error. Also, a lot of times I'll have you left of center. Now that black car is parked, and this has happened more times than I can remember. And the last time it happened was, I think it was about October. This is Northwest 65th Street, right in front of Ballard High School. Okay. And if the driver had have been in the position they wanted to be, we would have run right about there. And then this guy gets out. Like, is that still a thing? I know it was at one time, the sagging pants. He's coming out right in front of us. Okay. And look at that. We're about to kill the guy, but he's got one more thing he's got to do. Oh, no more shoot of the old narco he does. Okay. And we hit him and that happens. But I had the student left of center because I had just said this kind of crap can happen, and we do not hit the guy. And look what his fate is going to be. Okay, yeah, very much like I was, but for different reasons. Okay, so no, you do not always want to be centered in the lane. It depends on the circumstance. Here we got 3 lanes each direction. If you are in the left lane, you would want to be a bit left of center. Gives you a little more room between you and the center lane. That lane a bit right of center. There again, take advantage of the fact there's nothing next to you. And if you're in the middle lane, you do keep it centered. Okay, so it depends upon the circumstance. But this thing about always stay centered in the lane. No, you should not always be centered in the lane. Well, this looks pretty bad now, doesn't it? Okay, here's the story. As the slide is telling you, and as we know, slides never lie. People do, but slides don't. Oh, wait, they actually do, but this one isn't. Okay, worst of all circumstances. Here again, this was when I was working for somebody else. Okay. She couldn't drive worth a damn. The car had a stick shift. She lived way out past Duval. It was at night and it was a blinding thunderstorm. She was crazier than a shithouse rat and she hated my guts. Wow, isn't this a fun 90 minutes for me? Now, isn't it? Okay, so, yeah. So we get about 80 minutes through this 90-minute pure hell. And all I'm thinking to myself is, my God, in 10 minutes, she's going to get out of this car and it's going to feel so good when she gets out of the car. We are on the Woodinville-Duval Highway. Can you guess where that goes between Woodinville and Duval? Undivided highway, 50-mile-an-hour speed limit, which means everybody's doing 60 or 70. Okay, 10 minutes more and this thing is over. All right. So then I look ahead and about 10 seconds ahead and I see something and I'm yelling that really loud. And I'm capable of yelling that very loud. What was it I saw that was it an animal? No. This big, huge pickup truck was angling over the line right at us. Okay. Maybe the driver fell asleep. Maybe the driver was drunk. Maybe he was saying, "Goddamn pussy is driving some little Toyota. I'm gonna get my big American truck and take them damn old traitors out. Yeah. Yeah." Wonder what this guy looked like. Whoa. Let's call him Leroy. Yeah, so again, I got to think of something quick. Situation like this, you got 3 options, okay? Option 1, slam the brakes on, scream, swear, pray, and shit your pants. Usually not the greatest option. Option number 2, since that truck is coming onto our side of the road, we'll be clever and go to that side of the road and have a big old yuck about it. Now, won't we? Option 3 is to, I'm getting my options mixed up. Option 3, jerk the car off to the right and run off the road, which is what I did, which is generally the correct one. That's what I did. And we lived to tell about it. And you're thinking, yeah, there was probably a big, huge Walmart parking lot there. I'm afraid not. There was this rusty old guardrail with a swamp there. And at about 60 miles an hour, we flew. When I say flew, I mean it. We flew off the road into a swamp. And the car starts sinking. This is like quicksand. And then water starts coming into the car. But we're okay. We're not hurt. All right. And the car, oh, baby. There again. I'm glad it wasn't my car. I'm glad it was Jim's car. And Jim was an asshole anyway, so he kind of deserved to lose another car. But there's water coming in the car and mud coming in the car. And what lives in a swamp? See, leeches. I got leeches crawling up me. Except they're crawling up my leg. toward a part of the male anatomy where you don't want blood-sucking worm-like things headed towards, guys, if you know what I mean. I'm kidding. Okay, it's total bullshit. There were no leeches there, okay? But it probably woke a few of you back up, all right? Everything else is true though, but no leeches, thank God. Okay, so it took 2 tow trucks an hour to get us out of there. But there again, nobody hurt. Okay, this is northbound I-5. I'm in the black car. I was driving. There was nobody in the car with me. All of a sudden, this red car jerks into my lane to get off at the Lake City Way exit. Right in front of me. Whew. But there was a little bit of an indicator. There's something that made me pay a bit more attention to that red car. And it was not the fact that the car was red. That's got nothing to do with it. It had an out-of-state plate. California. It tells me the driver might not be intuitively knowledgeable about where the exits are. So I pay a little bit more attention to cars with out-of-state plates. I'm also going to tell you that there is one state, and it's amazing how many license plates you see from this state. Okay, it really is. God, I just spilled a bunch of iced tea on myself in an area where I'm really glad I don't have to get up and go out into public right now, or it would be very embarrassing. If you get my drift. So, this state, and my God, I see like 10 times as much just lame brain driving from people from this state. The state is Florida, you know? I mean, and what I'll do a lot of times is say, Florida, well, they can't drive worth the crap, but at least they had the good sense to leave the state of Florida. I'll give them that much credit. All right. But it's amazing how many Florida plates you see here. All right. Oh, drunken drivers. Here we have this tipsy little leprechaun. Now, don't we? I can't do an Irish accent. Okay. But let's say this is not driver's ed. Let's say this is police academy, and I'm the grizzled old training cop, and you are all the eager beaver youngster cadets. Well, right now, I'm teaching you people how to spot drunk drivers. There is something that is a dead giveaway, okay? When you see somebody driving ridiculously slow, and I've had jobs where I've gotten off at work at like 2 o'clock in the morning where at least half the drivers out there are inebriated, and you see this a lot. They're usually not wildly weaving all over the road, but when you see somebody driving ridiculously slow, that is a real indicator. Oh, distracted drivers, people who are not paying attention to what they should be paying attention to. And we all know this. And God, I got to tell you, you sit in a car as much as I do, the stuff we see people doing out there. And in case you're wondering, have we seen people doing that? Yep. Use your imagination. But I'll tell you about some of it, okay? Shaving. This is the biggest distraction, kids in the car. So you want to, like, what my parents would always do was they would always just lock me in the trunk, and if I suffocated, hey, they would collect on the life insurance. So did they care? Yeah, no restraints or anything. I just was like bouncing around the truck, like getting my head bashed into metal and everything. Yeah, dogs. Oh my God. Now that's a cool looking dog, but that dog should not be there. That, by the way, is now illegal in California, which it should be here. Last summer, I see this woman over by Green Lake, okay? And she's got this little creepy ass dog on her lap, which is a bad idea anyway, with an ice cream cone. And she would take a lick, and the dog would take a lick, and she would take a lick, and the dog would take a lick. And I just told my student, look at that. And then I didn't shut up for like 5 minutes. All right. We all know about texting and using the phone. Oh, Nose picking. There's another one. The guy's like he's trying to give himself a lobotomy. Okay. Brushing teeth. We've seen all this. Okay. Injecting narcotics. Smoking the old Mary Jane, aka hotboxing it, vaping. Okay. I'm not done with those, by the way. All right. We are in the black car. We just witnessed this. This is on a drive. This is northbound I-5, and that red car is on the 520 cutoff. You take that, goes to 520, which either goes down to the Montlake exit or goes to Bellevue. Well, the guy was about, I don't know, I would say 25 years old. And the guy has built a little holder for his phone on the hub of his steering wheel. And he's obviously paying a lot of attention to his phone and about zero to where he's going. Well, he needs to, what does he need to start doing here? The answer is turning the wheel a bit. But that's not what he did. He's just, because he's so engrossed in his phone. Now, this would not be possible these days because they totally changed this. Goes over the grass, then right into these bushes, which were there at the time, then right into this concrete wall. Okay, that's what this is. This is Darwinism, pure and simple, folks. Okay. But was I really sad? I'll be honest with you. I found it quite funny. I know I'm terrible, but I at least admit it, okay? Pay attention to the damn road, all right? Okay, here we got this guy. What does that? We got to give this guy a name. You all know people like that, you know, the ones that always sit in the front row. They get perfect grades. I mean, they're perfect. Yeah, trust me, I was not that guy. He looks like a Simon. We'll call him Simon. Okay. Simon is telling you. Simon says to look away if you're overtly sensitive here. Okay. When you see, keep in mind, people, I'm warning you, man and woman in car, man and man, woman and woman, man and pig, man and turkey, woman and goat, girl and clown, somebody with a horse, man and snakes in the car. And the car is shaken like it's in an earthquake and the windows are steamed up and they're at a red light. You can bet the dude's mind ain't on driving. It's on something else. Okay. And can you kind of guess what that something else is? Okay, you can look back. Okay. Okay, the nasty stuff is over. Fine, youngsters, look back at the screen. Yeah, so that guy's mind is on something else and not on driving. Okay. I got to say this for the old coot. He's still capable of getting excited about it, so he must be having something going for him, all right? There again, you know, this is one reason why my record is so good is I'm looking at what people are doing and I'm saying, that's interesting. It's funny. It's going to make a great story for my Zooms, but damn, let's stay the hell away from that dude. All right. All right. So in summation, space is your friend. Keep in mind that space is your friend, and sometimes space is all that exists between some people's ears, as we know. Okay, be judgmental. Say, hey, that guy just looks like a dumbass. And it turns out the guy is a dumbass. Trust yourself. Basically, I trust who I see when I look in the mirror. That's about it. Okay, but be nice too. Cooperate with other people. Somebody wants to change lanes. Let them be nice. Treat other people as you would want to be treated. See, I'm not all bad. You're driving along, you got mergers, just kind of change your space, make it easier for them to merge. All right. Just don't cut people off. Just like again, just use the golden rule. Treat everybody like you wanted to be treated. All right. Yeah. All right. So what do we got here? Me talking with a big frown on my face. All right. Uh-oh, here he comes. All right. So we know what time it is now, don't we? Kahoot time. All right. And that's not the last time he and that Cybertruck will be making an appearance in my slides, and they get more controversial as we go along. All right. So I'll switch over to the Kahoot, come back in about 4 or 5 minutes. All right. You know the drill.